Danny Segura for MMA Junkie here in South Florida. I'm standing next to the California kid who's in Florida. We're here at the BKFC fights. Obviously, Chad Mendes making his BKFC debut. Real quick, Urijah, obviously that's what brings you here. How much involvement did you have in this camp for Chad Mendes?
Not a ton. I wasn't a sparring partner for him, thank goodness. And, just there to really cheer him on, give some bits of advice here and there. But we have a strong staff, and Coach Joey Rodriguez really took the lead on this one. Purely boxing based. Of course, there's some clinch and some dirty boxing, but, more of just, a cheerleader for Chad on this one.
Was this the first time your team has been dealing with a BKFC fight or a bare knuckle fight?
We had Eddie, no joke, Hogue, Edward Heavy Hands, I call him, from Alaska. He's had 2 fights. He's 2-0 in the bare knuckle ring, and he might have set a record, his first one for punches thrown. He's a wild man, so he'll be fighting again here very soon, and possibly going up a weight. I'm not sure, but so now we have 2 guys. We've got Eddie Hogue and Chad Mendes.
Okay, nice. So you guys had a little bit of experience.
Yeah.
And let's talk about your career. We haven't seen you fight in a while. We saw that Cub Swanson respectfully called you out. You answered back.
Yeah.
What's the latest on that, man? Are we gonna get a fight booked between you two?
It's been, 2 years since coronavirus hit that I've fought. I wasn't going to fight without a crowd. Now that crowds are back, Cub, I love Cub a lot. I think, he's a guy I respect. We're almost going to fight a couple different times, very close to fighting a couple different times. So if I was going to come back and do one, that would definitely be an exciting fight and a fun fight and a fight that would get my, get me excited. But I have to have everything. I have to have the right fight. I have to have the crowd there. It's got to be an experience for me. That's why I'm doing this stuff. Nothing guaranteed. I think he's got a broken hand at the time, and I haven't been hitting training very, regimen.
Yeah.
I'm always in good shape, and I would really want to dial it down, but there's something that could happen, absolutely.
Okay. Has the UFC at all reached out to you about, hey, this could be something we entertain?
It's funny because Dana had reached out to me the day Cub called me out, or the day after, just to BS about say something about family and whatnot. And he actually mentioned Cub and his family, and I'm the one that told him that happened. He's like, "Oh, I had no clue," and he called me. I don't think he's opposed to it. We haven't had any discussions. It was more of just a little, banter back and forth, but. If Cubs make a drop to 135s, he was saying something maybe in Palm Springs, California related. I'm down for that.
Yeah. You're no stranger at fighting at 145, but that was, a while ago. You wouldn't move up to fight him?
Maybe. I haven't really thought about it. From what I understood, he wants to drop down to 35s, and that's what kind of the reason he called my name out. But I'm down for a good time.
Yeah.
These experiences as you get older, even the fight against Yan and coming out of retirement in Sacramento, this is all just icing on the cake for me, and having a good time. You get a little cash, you have something to focus and train on, and go out and do something that you love. So I'm not counting anything out.
Right.
Yeah.
And no Apex for you. You're not down for that, it seems.
The Apex?
UFC Apex?
Probably not, no.
Yeah. You need the crowd in there.
Yeah, unless even that's an intimate, if you get a crowd. I'm probably not an Apex fight.
Yeah. And talk a little bit about where you're at in your career right now. Obviously, I'm sure you get questions like, hey, when are you going to officially retire? But do you see yourself fighting for a couple years longer here and there, or where are you right now in your career?
I really haven't thought about it. I'm in the gym every day, helping mentor the guys. I'm doing a lot of, just being present. I do workouts because I want to. Yeah. It's because it's my, it's my habits, and mostly grappling-based stuff. I don't do a lot of striking or a lot of sparring. I don't see myself having a long a one-off fight, because it sounds like a lot of fun and a good story, and that kind of thing is kind of the deal. I probably would have fought had I not been for the world pandemic in the last couple of years. But I'm not trying to resurge and have a title run or anything like that. I'll do shit that's fun.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And I want to ask you a couple more questions. Petr Yan's supposed to fight at some point, unify the title against Aljamain Sterling.
Yeah.
Do you keep a close eye to the division, and do you watch the fights and what's going on?
I watch the fights whenever I can. I mean, I missed quite a few, but I'm a fan of Yan. I'm a fan of Aljamain, of everyone in the division. I keep a close eye just because it's close to my heart. I knew Yan was going to be a tough fight for me. I was curious to see how that fight went the first time, and I think Aljamain has to figure out a new route.
Yeah.
He was a step behind as the fight progressed, and so Petr is like legit.
Yeah.
I mean, he's legitimately a world champion now. Came back and won the interim title on top of the layoff and everything. So I think I'm going to lean towards him on that one. But Aljamain, could have covered some ground, and hopefully he did. I like Aljamain.
Yeah, and just real quick, I also want to get your thoughts on Cody Garbrandt. He had such a tremendous run, clearly, became champion in no time, had a historic title performance against Dominic Cruz. And since he's been on a bit of a slump, I believe he's 1-5 in his last performances. What do you make of his career? Because he's still clearly young in age. What do you make of where he's at, and what do you think is sort of missing that, has brought them down this road?
I mean, without getting into personal life of Cody, people don't know what happens in people's lives, etc. And some of those fights, I feel like, were his fights to win. Sometimes maybe not as focused. I think it's really just understanding that it needs to be an all-in attitude. And the last camp, he actually had an amazing camp. I got to see him. He was partially at our camp and partially with out in New Jersey a little bit, and he was super focused and on point and took everything really, really serious. And that's all we need from him. And he was fighting another world-class fighter. He needs to go out and have his best performance, have some good luck on his side, and it only takes one fight for Cody to get back on the right track and build off of that momentum. But he's had his own battles inside, outside the octagon, and that's more his story to tell. But very young guy, the world's his oyster if he gets right on the right track and makes it happen.
We appreciate the time. Enjoy the fights tonight at BKFC, and thank you so much. Looking forward to hopefully the UFC makes that Cub Swanson fight. I think it'd be a nice WEC throwback.
I mean, I haven't been knocking anybody's door down for it. If they come talk to me about it, I have a real hard time turning down a good time.
Yeah.
It's like I talk about people do all sorts of things to kind of test themselves and have experiences. For me, a fight, it gets me fired up, and maybe it'll happen, maybe it won't. Either way, I'm good.
Yeah. All right, you're right. Appreciate the time. Thank you so much.